Welcome back, SOLIDWORKS community. In this video, we will be seeing all of the ways we can use motion and animations in SOLIDWORKS Visualize. We will create simulated motion images, animations, and utilize imported SOLIDWORKS Motion Studies. Sit back and enjoy these awesome animations. We will first start with an existing animation in SOLIDWORKS. This one has been around for a long time, and it is called the sorter. We want to create a nicer rendering than what SOLIDWORKS alone will give us. The basic premise of this assembly is that we can have gravity bring the balls down and sort them out based on the size of the balls and the size of the slot going down the chute. When we want to bring this animation from SOLIDWORKS over to SOLIDWORKS Visualize, we need to have the add-in turned on and then use the Export Advanced tool to get the model and its animation into Visualize. Once the file is in a Visualize project, all we need to do is the rendering. So we will select the output tools and then make sure we are creating an animation. We can then select the resulting video format and frame rate. We can now see the resulting rendered video of the sorter. The next rendering that we will create is called a turntable animation, and we will use the ship in this example. If we select the turntable option, we can see that Visualize will put a new model in the project underneath our model. This becomes an actual turntable in the project, which we can manipulate as an actor in the scene. We can then see some preview options where we can speed up or slow down the rotation of the model and reverse the direction. Now we simply go to the output options. We have the options for the animation on the left, and then the normal output options on the right. The result is a video output of the model rotating around with a fixed camera as if it is sitting on a lazy Susan. The next animation type we will look at is motion blur. In a traditional sense, this animation is based on the camera shutter speed and speed of the object that is in motion. Take this image for example. The carousel rotates around a stationary object in the center. The camera cannot clearly capture some of the objects that are moving. The stationary object in the center is clear, whereas the people and animals on the carousel are blurry as they are moving past the camera. Motion blur takes this principle into account, and we will use the built-in sample project of the Camaro in this example to look at the wheels. I will start by accessing the animation timeline by using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-L. The first thing we want to do is select the wheel so that we can set up the proper axis of rotation. If you select the incorrect component or area, simply delete it out of the timeline. The easiest way to do this is to use the Group Selection option, which allows us to select the entire wheel. Then we can select the center pivot as the group option. We can then add the rotation to the timeline from the right-click menu. If the wheel is rotating in the wrong direction, you can simply put in a negative number for the rotation to have it go in the opposite direction. The final step to setting up this animation type is to create a new camera for the motion blur. We will create a new camera by copying and pasting the current camera. We will then select the new camera and go to the Advanced tab, where we can enable motion blur and set what our camera shutter speed would be. The final animation type we will look at is a camera flyby. By using Visualize, we can create what looks to be a very complex animation in a simple manner. We start by adding a new camera. Next, we will add the initial camera position to the animation timeline by adding the keyframe. Next, we move to a new position on the timeline and rotate the camera to a new location. When we do this, a new keyframe is added to the timeline. We will now repeat these steps to add to the animation. As we play the animation preview, we can see the camera moving around the ship per our camera positions in the timeline. We can also show the camera path by selecting the camera path icon within the timeline while we're in preview mode. If we want to make any changes to the animation, it's quite easy. I will first turn on multiple viewports, which allows us to see the camera view on one side and the camera path on the other side. If we want to change the path of the camera, we can simply drag the path to a new location. Once the animation is set up how we want, we go to the output tools and select the output options that we want. Thank you for joining us for this video series. I hope it was entertaining and that you learned a few things along the way. I hope to see you all next time.